In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you how my grandfather used this miracle spray to solve 29 everyday problems. Number 1. The Aerospace Origins. Ever wonder why that familiar blue and yellow can in your garage is called WD-40? The answer lies in the Cold War era, when America's aerospace ambitions were reaching for the stars. Back in 1953, a small company called Rocket Chemical Company in San Diego had a very specific mission: create a formula that would prevent corrosion on rocket components. The secret wasn't found right away. It took them exactly 40 attempts to perfect their water displacement formula, hence the name WD-40, water displacement, 40th attempt. This top-secret formula was initially designed exclusively for the Atlas missile program, where it protected delicate components from rust and moisture. Number 2. Clean stove burners. Speaking of miracle solutions, ever looked at those blackened, crusty stove burners and wished for an easier way to clean them? The same formula that protected Cold War rockets contains petroleum distillates powerful enough to break down years of stubborn cooking residue that regular cleaners can't touch. Here's how to do it. First, remove the burners from your stove. Give them a good spray with WD-40, making sure to cover all those stubborn, burnt-on areas. Let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. This gives those petroleum distillates time to work their magic on the carbon deposits and grease buildup. Then simply wipe away with a cloth and watch years of cooking mishaps disappear with minimal elbow grease. Number 3. Loosen stuck seat belt. While we're talking about safety hazards, have you ever frantically yanked on a stubborn seatbelt while the minutes tick by and you're already late? What most people don't realize is that seatbelt mechanisms develop potentially dangerous sticking points over time, making them a safety concern hiding in plain sight. The culprit? Dust, debris, and seasonal temperature fluctuations gradually infiltrate the retraction mechanism, causing that frustrating jerking or complete locking that seems to happen at the worst possible moments. Number 4. Waterproof shoes. From keeping you safe in your car to keeping your feet dry in a storm, WD-40's versatility might surprise even the most dedicated DIY enthusiast. Ever wondered what those 2 letters in the name actually stand for, and why that makes it perfect for protecting your footwear from puddles? That's right, those water-displacing properties can create a temporary moisture barrier around your favorite shoes. The application couldn't be simpler. Just spray a light coat onto the exterior of your canvas, leather, or even suede shoes. Wipe away any excess with a clean cloth and let them dry completely before wearing. Number 5. Keep birds off your car. That trusty can protecting your shoes might be the answer to one of the most frustrating car owner experiences. What if I told you birds actively avoid surfaces treated with WD-40? It turns out our feathered friends hate both the smell and the slick surface it creates. Next time you've detailed your car to perfection, grab that blue and yellow can from the garage. Simply spray a light coat of WD-40 onto a soft cloth and wipe it across your side mirrors, roof racks, and other spots where birds love to perch. Just remember, this isn't a permanent solution. You'll need to reapply every few days, especially after rain or car washes, to maintain its bird-repelling properties. Number 6. Remove bugs from car grills. Want to know why those pesky bugs on your car's front end seem impossible to remove? It's not just your imagination. Those splattered insects literally bake onto your vehicle's surface thanks to the heat from your engine, creating what's essentially a protein cement. Most folks reach for harsh brushes that end up scratching their paint, or they waste money on specialty bug removers that barely work. But there's a better way hiding in your garage. Number 7. Prevent rust on bike chains. While bugs on your car are annoying, that rusty squeaking from your bike chain might actually be costing you money. Ever wondered why professional cyclists treat their chains like precious metal? It's because chain replacement costs add up fast, but there's a rust prevention hack hiding in your garage that could save those chains from an early grave. That distinctive squeaking noise isn't just embarrassing, it's the sound of iron literally reacting with oxygen and water at a microscopic level. Left untreated, your chain will gradually weaken and potentially damage more expensive components of your bike's drivetrain. Number 8. Remove hard water stains from kettles. That chalky white buildup inside your kettle isn't just ugly, it's actually changing how your morning coffee tastes. While most folks spend hours soaking their kettles in vinegar or waste money on fancy descaling products, there's a quicker solution hiding in your garage. The scientific magic happens because WD-40's unique solvents get to work breaking down those stubborn calcium and magnesium deposits, while its lubricating properties help them slide right off the metal surface. Using it couldn't be simpler. Make sure your kettle is completely cool and dry, spray a small amount of WD-40 inside, and let it sit for about 5 minutes. The critical step: thoroughly washing with warm, soapy water multiple times before brewing again to ensure no chemical residue remains. Number 9. Clean tar off shoes. Contrary to what most people believe, stepping in road tar doesn't mean your shoes are destined for the trash. trash. The secret lies in understanding the molecular battle between two petroleum-based substances, one that's been hiding in your garage all along. When you step in that sticky black mess on a freshly paved road, don't panic. The petroleum distillates in WD-40 are chemically similar to the hydrocarbons in tar, which is exactly why they're so effective at dissolving it. This similarity allows WD-40 to break down the adhesive bonds that make tar stick to your shoes in the first place. Number 10, prevent sand from sticking to chairs. That same petroleum-based formula that dissolves stubborn tar has another beach trick up its sleeve. What if I told you the difference between a sand-encrusted nightmare and a quick shake-and-go beach chair isn't luck or expensive gear, but something you already have in your garage? Beach lovers know the frustration. You're still finding sand in your car weeks after your trip. Here's Grandpa's secret. Before heading out, spray a light layer of WD-40 on the legs and frame of your beach chairs, being careful to avoid the fabric. This creates a slick barrier that prevents sand from clinging to the surface. Number 11, remove gum from hair. Ever found yourself in the middle of a parenting crisis that leaves your stomach in knots? If you've ever discovered your child with a wad of gum tangled in their hair, that all too familiar feeling of dread probably washed over you immediately. Before you reach for the scissors, though, there might be an unexpected solution waiting in your garage or tool shed. The chemical composition of WD-40 makes it surprisingly effective at breaking down the sticky polymers in chewing gum. However, safety should be your top priority here. The product contains petroleum-based solvents that can cause skin irritation with prolonged contact, so application needs to be targeted and careful. To safely use WD-40 for gum removal, the application should be targeted and contact with the scalp should be avoided, according to research. The recommended approach involves spraying a small amount directly onto the gum and surrounding hair strands while protecting the scalp. Let it sit for about a minute to break down the gum's stickiness, then gently remove the gum by combing through with a fine-tooth comb. Number 12, stop slugs on plant pots. While WD-40 works wonders inside your home, outside it creates a barrier that garden pests absolutely refuse to cross. That lush potted petunia or prized tomato plant you've been nurturing can be decimated overnight by determined slugs that somehow scale any height to reach their leafy feast. What makes WD-40 so effective against these slimy invaders? When applied to the outside of plant containers, it creates a slippery surface that makes it nearly impossible for slugs to crawl up and damage your plants. The slick barrier combined with the product's distinctive smell creates a deterrent that sends slugs in search of easier meals. Remember to reapply WD-40 after rain or as needed to maintain a slug-free garden. Weather conditions, especially rainfall, can wash away the protective barrier, requiring occasional maintenance to keep your plants protected. Number 13, unstick zippers. Did you know that same can of WD-40 that keeps garden pests at bay can also rescue your favorite clothing items? There's nothing worse than that moment of panic when you're rushing out the door and your jacket zipper jams completely, leaving you stuck and frustrated. When applying WD-40 to zippers, there's a potential for staining, especially on lighter fabrics. The petroleum distillates in the formula can interact with dyes and leave oily residue that attracts dirt. That's why proper application is crucial. Spray a small amount on a Q-tip or cloth rather than directly on the zipper. After working the zipper back and forth to distribute the lubricant, be sure to wipe off any excess. Wipe off any excess WD-40 with a cloth and your zipper will be as good as new. Number 14, remove crayon from toys. Remember those colorful dinosaurs your kids transformed into abstract art masterpieces? Parents everywhere know that sinking feeling when discovering crayon marks all over plastic toys. While you might be tempted to toss these ruined treasures, there's a surprising solution hiding in your garage. The challenge with crayon marks is their waxy composition, which becomes practically fused with textured plastic surfaces. Traditional cleaning methods either fail completely or require harsh scrubbing that damages the toys. Here's where WD-40 saves the day. Spray a small amount of WD-40 onto a soft cloth or directly onto the crayon marks. Gently wipe the surface in circular motions, letting the WD-40 break down the wax. The special solvents dissolve the crayon without harming the plastic. Number 15, deter squirrels from feeders. Speaking of solving household problems, here's a backyard battle that's frustrated bird enthusiasts for decades. Have you ever watched in disbelief as those acrobatic little thieves empty your expensive bird feeders in minutes while mockingly flicking their bushy tails at you? It's like they're performing Olympic-level gymnastics just to raid your birdseed supply. Here's a surprisingly simple solution that doesn't require fancy squirrel-proof gadgets. The key is proper application. Spray WD-40 onto a cloth and wipe it only on the feeder pole or hanging chain. This creates a slippery surface that makes it impossible for squirrels to climb. Remember to avoid spraying near the actual bird seed to prevent prevent contamination. For continued effectiveness, reapply after rainfall or every few days. Number 16, remove food from baking trays. Now that your bird feeders are squirrel-free, let's rescue those baking trays you've been hiding from guests. Did you know the same penetrating formula that makes poles too slippery for squirrels can break the seemingly unbreakable bond between burnt food and metal? It's the kitchen hack that might just save you from throwing away another ruined baking sheet. What makes WD-40 so effective is its ability to penetrate and loosen the molecular bond between carbonized food and metal surfaces. But safety is paramount here. After spraying it directly onto those stubborn burnt areas and letting it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes, you absolutely must wash the tray thoroughly with hot soapy water. In fact, repeat this washing process multiple times to ensure all traces of the product are removed before cooking on it again. Number 17, lubricate garage doors. Let's address that ear-splitting screech coming from your garage door every morning. That noise isn't just annoying, it's the sound of metal components grinding themselves into expensive repair territory. Your garage door is actually a complex mechanical system with tracks, rollers, hinges, springs, and an opener mechanism, all working together in a delicate dance that can be disrupted by friction and wear. The beauty of WD-40 is its dual-action benefit. It cleans accumulated grease and grime while simultaneously providing fresh lubrication. For best results, target the hinges, rollers, and springs specifically. Just be careful to avoid plastic parts in the opener chain. After application, open and close the door several times to help distribute the lubricant. Experts recommend this maintenance every 6 months to extend your door's lifespan and keep operations smooth and quiet. Number 18, smooth curtain rods. Notice how curtains sometimes fight back when you try to open or close them? That frustrating stop-and-go motion isn't just annoying, it's slowly damaging your window treatments. The culprit is a combination of dust buildup, oxidation, and friction that transforms smooth gliding curtains into stubborn adversaries. Here's where WD-40 shines in an unexpected way. Metal curtain rods especially benefit from its application, as it reduces friction between the rings and rod surface, while preventing rust in humid environments. For wooden or plastic rods, you'll want to be more cautious, as WD-40 could potentially damage their finish. The key is proper application. Never spray directly on curtains. Instead, remove the curtains if possible, apply WD-40 to a clean cloth, then carefully wipe along the rod. This method minimizes the risk of staining delicate fabrics while maximizing smooth operation. Number 19, clean, sticky food containers. Speaking of careful application techniques, your kitchen presents another perfect opportunity for WD-40's problem-solving abilities. Remember that glass pasta sauce jar you threw away last week because the label adhesive wouldn't come off? That sticky situation has a surprisingly simple solution. Those stubborn, gummy residues that refuse to budge aren't just annoying, they're actually preventing millions of perfectly good containers from being properly reused or recycled each year. Most folks either exhaust themselves scrubbing or simply toss containers that still have plenty of life left in them. The trick is applying WD-40 directly to the sticky spot and letting it sit for a few minutes. The solvents break down the adhesive at a molecular level, making what seemed impossible suddenly effortless. Just remember, thorough cleaning afterward is absolutely critical since WD-40 isn't intended for food contact. Always wash containers with warm, soapy water multiple times after treatment. Number 20, prevent headlight moisture. Now let's talk about those foggy headlights. You know, the ones that look like they've been driving through a haunted movie set. That cloudy appearance isn't just ruining your car's looks, it's actually cutting your nighttime visibility by up to 50%. But before you shell out hundreds for replacement assemblies, try this penny-saving trick that mechanics rarely mention. Temperature fluctuations are the real culprit here. When warm air inside your headlight assembly cools rapidly, condensation forms and gets trapped. The genius move? Apply WD-40 to a soft cloth and carefully wipe it around the rubber seals and edges, never on the plastic lens itself. This creates a protective barrier that prevents moisture infiltration. Number 21, remove lipstick stains from glass. Speaking of stubborn problems, have you ever noticed how lipstick marks on glassware seem absolutely determined to become permanent residents? Modern lipsticks contain a complex chemistry cocktail of waxes, oils, and pigments specifically designed to stay put on lips, which unfortunately means they're equally committed to sticking around on your grandmother's crystal. Here's where our trusty blue and yellow can save the day again. The powerful solvents in WD-40 easily break down those stubborn lipstick components. Just spray a small amount directly on the stain, give it about 30 seconds to work its magic, then wipe it away with a cloth. Number 22, shine artificial plants. That artificial plant collection you've given up on phone might be one spray away from looking brand new. While your glasses need thorough cleaning after WD-40 treatment, those lifeless artificial plants collecting dust in your home could actually benefit from a similar approach. The magic happens because dust particles cling to artificial plants due to static electricity. They're practically dust magnets. When applying WD-40 to revive your faux greenery, safety should be your priority. Being petroleum-based, WD-40 is flammable, so keep your treated plants away from candles, fireplaces, and other heat sources. This isn't mentioned in most decorating tips, but it's absolutely crucial. Test the product on a small leaf first to ensure it won't cause discoloration. Number 23, stop ants in pet food bowls. Ever noticed how ants seem to find your pet's food bowl within minutes, no matter where you move it? The solution might already be sitting in your garage. WD-40's unique formula interferes with the chemical trails ants depend on for navigation, creating a boundary they simply won't cross. Ants rely on scent trails to communicate and find food sources. When they encounter WD-40, it disrupts these invisible highways, confusing them and forcing a retreat. The slippery surface created also makes it physically difficult for ants to gain traction, providing a double barrier of protection. Number 24, remove hair dye from counters. From pest control to personal grooming mishaps, our trusty blue and yellow can continues to surprise. Have you ever been in the middle of touching up your hair color, only to watch in horror as a dark splatter lands on your pristine bathroom counter? Modern hair dyes are specially formulated with pigments designed to resist washing away. That's why they're so effective on your hair and so stubborn on your surfaces. Standard bathroom cleaners barely make a dent in these stains, often just smearing the color around. But here's where WD-40 works its magic. Simply spray directly onto those stubborn dye marks and wait about a minute. The formula breaks down the dye, making it easy to wipe away with a soft cloth or sponge. Number 25, lubricate scissors. You know those scissors sitting in your junk drawer that take muscle and determination just to make a single cut? Their sticky, jerky motion isn't just frustrating, it's actually damaging both the scissors and your hands. That grinding resistance at the pivot point is probably why most of your scissors end up forgotten or tossed out. When you spray WD-40 directly onto the joint where the blades meet, the lubricant penetrates the mechanism, dissolving built-up grime that causes that annoying sticking. For best results, work it along the blades too, then open and close them repeatedly to distribute the lubricant evenly. Just remember to wipe away any excess with a clean cloth afterward, especially if you'll be using them on food or fabric. Number 26, prevent mud on boots. While those scissors in your drawer are now working perfectly, let's talk about another common frustration: those muddy boots after a hike or outdoor work session. Ever noticed how some outdoorsmen seem to have magically clean footwear even after trekking through the same trails as you? The application process is surprisingly simple. Before heading out, lightly spray WD-40 on the exterior of your boots, whether they're made of canvas, leather, or suede. Wipe away any excess product with a cloth to prevent streaks and let them dry completely. This creates a protective barrier that makes mud slide right off instead of sticking. Number 27, restore baseball gloves. That old baseball glove sitting in your garage isn't just stiff, it's practically begging for attention. Ever wonder why vintage baseball gloves from the 60s and 70s still feel buttery smooth while yours feels like cardboard after just one season? The answer might surprise you, and it's already sitting on your workbench. Professional equipment managers and leather care specialists might raise their eyebrows, but there's a reason Grandpa's generation swore by WD-40 for bringing stiff leather back to life. Unlike dedicated leather conditioners with lanolin or mink oil, WD-40 wasn't specifically designed for leather care, but its ability to penetrate and temporarily soften hardened leather has made it a baseball dugout secret for decades. Number 28, unclog shower head nozzles. Speaking of proper application, have you ever stepped into your shower, ready to wash away the day's troubles, only to be greeted by a pathetic trickle instead of a satisfying spray? Most people blame their water pressure, but the real culprit might be hiding in plain sight. Here's what's happening. Every time you shower, microscopic calcium and magnesium particles in your water stick to the tiny openings in your shower head. Over time, these minerals form rock-hard deposits that gradually choke the water flow like clogged arteries. By the time you notice the reduced pressure, those deposits have already claimed many of the nozzle openings. Number 29, prevent birds nesting in vents. What if I told you those birds nesting in your home's exterior vents aren't just annoying, they're creating a serious fire risk that standard solutions rarely fix? The aerospace engineers who developed WD-40 probably never imagined their creation would become nature's no vacancy sign, but that's exactly what happens when you know this simple trick. Birds choose nesting sites based on shelter, protection from predators, and food access. Turns out they absolutely hate the smell and slippery surface WD-40 creates. Simply spray some on a cloth and and wipe around the exterior of your vent openings, never inside the vents themselves. This creates a deterrent that sends birds looking for more hospitable real estate.